Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always a fun ride, and I look forward to talking with you every single day. I wish we could do this on Saturday and Sunday, too. No, I need some time off. But anyway, you can go back in and watch reruns. You can go to facebook.com/DFiesel and just type in Donna Fiesel, Julia Christine. You'll be able to pull up all of the past shows and go that way. You can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Otherwise, you can find us if it's social media. I'm doing it. So anyway, thank you again so much for watching. Okay, you've all been looking forward to this segment. Drum roll, please. And continue sending those emails too, by the way. You send a bunch of them. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Hi, Julia. How you doing?
Hi, Donna. I'm good. Things are great.
You know why? Because you really literally, and we got some emails topics on this. It's about in-laws and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, you just kind of like do your thing and don't worry about stuff. There's no point.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because does it feel good to worry?
No.
Does it feel good to like be angry or bitter or hateful?
I don't see the point.
Well, it's not even about not seeing the point. Those are natural human emotions, but like, do they feel good? No. So I'm going to do everything I can to feel good in my life. And that means I'm going to avoid those things as much as possible. Now, having said that, I'm human. They come up. I have human BS to deal with. Like, I got to pay my taxes just like the next guy, right?
Oh.
So like, you know what I mean? So am I happy about that? No. But at the same time, I understand a couple of things. Can I go off on this? Can I say something about this?
Go girl.
So like, I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine, and I've been able to use it in a lot of my sessions and in a lot of like my coaching and like life coaching kind of conversations. And it's like, sometimes we wake up, whether it's when we're talking, in this particular case, we were talking about politics, blah, 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 and like everything's just crap. And we are literally in a pit of crap. And then I've used the same example with people talking about their lives or their financial situation or about whatever it is. You're right. Sometimes we feel like we are in a pit of crap. And sometimes that's true. And when you're in it, all you see is crap. You smell like it. It's on you. It's everywhere. And sometimes it feels so deep, like you're drowning in it, or that it just keeps getting bigger. People keep adding to the crap. And the reason why it keeps getting worse is because it is all we're focused on. Well, Julia, how in the heck do I focus on anything else when it's all around me, when I see it, smell it, taste it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to encourage you, and this is what I do, is to shift your focus, to look at the blue sky above you while you're in this pit struggling to get out, and start imagining what it's like on the other side. Start imagining about like, oh my gosh, when I'm out of this pit, I'm going to feel so good. I'm going to take the hottest shower I've ever taken. And I'm going to, you know what I mean? And start imagining about those things, about those parts of your reality. You are in a pit of crap, but the sky is beautiful. Cool. Even something as weak as a beautiful sky, if you can find any sort of light or like happiness or something that shifts your focus, even if it's not the happiest thing in the world, it's shifting your focus off of the crap. And eventually, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. You're really practiced. We are really practiced with focusing on the crap. And so it's going to take a little bit of practice to focus on something else. But if you avert your attention from the crap and you start focusing on something else, pretty soon, honestly, before you even know it, you're going to realize you're standing outside of the pit. And when you're standing outside of the pit and you've showered and you don't smell like it anymore because you've come to realize all those things you were imagining, you look down at the pit and you're like, oh my gosh, that's not as big as I thought it was. That's going to be easy to deal with because you're in a place of feeling better. When you're in it, you can't get out of it. But when you can feel good about anything else, to get yourself even halfway out of it, but in this instance, in this little analogy, let's use out of it, you can see, first of all, maybe there is as much, maybe there's more than you thought Cool. You're outside of it. You don't have to jump back in. You can figure out how to deal with the crap. You can deal with the problems at a much more neutral space, if not positive space. But when you're in it, you can't be positive about it. And that's where this idea of toxic positivity, oh, you're always positive. You always just try to, and I'm not telling you to pretend that the crap's not there. It's there. And we're going to deal with it. But we're going to deal with it when we're out of it, when we're in a better feeling place, because then you are at least at neutral to be able to deal with it. And if you can get higher than neutral and look down on it a little bit more, then you're going to be like, oh, this goes here, that goes there, this goes there. This is what I do. Whew. Cool. And when it's layer after layer after layer, cool. You can't deal with the fifth layer first, so stop worrying about it. When there are so many things running through your head, I got to do this and this and this and this and this. Cool. You can only do one of those things at a time. So which one comes first? Which one's on top? Which one has the most priority? Take a couple of deep breaths and ask yourself, what is the first logical step for me to take? Okay, I'm going to do this. And then when you're done, okay, cool. Now I can do this. Okay, cool. Focus on one thing at a time. Allow your brain to think of it all and then make it go quiet and say, all right, what's first? And do that.
Set priority.
That's the only way to be able to, have a great day every day.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a friend, I don't even remember where it came from, but they started saying, make it a great day instead of telling people to have a great day. Because having a great day is literally like sitting back down and allowing life to happen. When people say life is lifing. Yeah. Have you ever heard people say that? Life is lifing?
Mm-hmm.
It's your life. And so to me, saying life is lifing is like you're just sitting there watching the world go by. I want to take control of my life. I want to be the one in control of my life. I want to create the life that I want, and I can do that. But I can't just sit there and let life. I got to live my life. And I got to choose where I'm going to put my focus so that I feel best. Am I in denial of my reality, of my bank account, of all of those things? Absolutely not. But because I keep myself as much as possible in a higher, I call it vibrational frequency because everything is a vibration, but like in a higher state of being, meaning like I feel good the majority of the time. I can wake up and even though I didn't get a lot of sleep, I can be like, cool, I get to talk to Donna today. Or cool, it is a beautiful day outside. It is not too hot and I'm excited about that. You know what I mean? I can keep my
I am too
on
right now.
You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, sure, it's a gray day today, but you want to know what? It's nice and cool. I'm still going to be able to get out and walk because it's not pouring rain. I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, and so now all of a sudden I've shifted my focus to being like, oh, it's another gray day. To be like, here's opportunity for me. Find the opportunity. It is always there. Always.
Amber had a question for you, and it's basically on this line. So I'm going to shift just a second from what I
for sure.
asked you about. Okay, so this is in line. So Amber said, Donna, you talk about going out to your garden for peace of mind. I live in a 12-story apartment building, 800 square feet. How can I find my happy place?
I live in Brooklyn, New York. I go to the center of either. Yeah, I go to the center of Prospect Park, which is almost as big as Central Park. But even going to the middle of Central Park, and in amongst that beauty, there are sirens. There are people blasting their own music. There are people getting in arguments. There are people or smoking or like whatever it is. You find your happy place in you. Your happy place isn't necessarily outside of you, and you find a place where you can connect. Now, in what I would say, Amber, is that in Donna's instance, she goes outside to get away from whatever because she loves it, but also there are times when she goes to her garden because she's just got to put everything else aside and shift her focus. I'm getting angry. I'm feeling myself react. I got to get out. Literally getting away from whatever that is. Going outside and walking around your block, going outside and sitting in your car sometimes, putting like noise canceling headphones on and rocking out to your favorite piece of music.
Oh, that's good. But on the 70s stuff.
I listen to like Stevie Wonder radio. So like, it's like, like this great bass grooves. And like, and then I gotta be honest, when I'm angry, I have some angry music that I listen to, and my neighbors must hate me. I blast the crap out of this music. I hold a speaker up to my ear, and I like literally like throw myself around in the middle of my little living room. And sometimes I need a happier thing, and so I'll like literally throw myself a little dance party with 2 or 3 songs, and I feel it feels good. There's release. There's movement. There's quote unquote escape. And if you aren't a music person and you feel like I'm uncomfortable dancing, I would encourage you to do it anyway. Because
dance anyway.
Right, exactly. Especially because there's nobody around. You're in your own living room, even though my neighbors can hear the music. And look, my downstairs neighbors might even be able to hear me jumping up and down. But you want to know what? I don't care. It's not about them. It's about me and what I'm doing. And again, I'm in control of my life. So I'm going to do the things like that I need to do in order to keep my peace, in order to get myself away from the things that are trying to throw me in that pit. And so you get out and you climb up the ladder out of your pit and you go for a walk, drive to a park. Like, I don't know where your building is, but like I am grateful to live a mile from Prospect Park. On my way to Prospect Park, I passed 2 other little kiddie parks, and there are trees there, and there are little kids laughing. And so there are other places that you can go that aren't necessarily a park. Find what works for you. You know what? This might not be a good idea for you, Amber, but it might help other people. Go find a swing set. Go find a swing set and get on a swing. When was the last time you did that?
It's 65 years old. It's still fun.
It is. And what I want to encourage people to do is, what did you used to love to do when you were a kid? Was it swing? Did you like to skip? Get out on that sidewalk and skip. I told you I listen to this music. I call it like funk music. Like, it's just got this bass, this groove, and it just makes me want to walk funny. I literally put that music on and walk down the street, and I'm just loving my music, and I'm walking, and I look up and there's these guys in their car and they're laughing at me. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm making such a fool of myself. And then I thought, you know what? I am loving my music. I'm enjoying myself so much. And you want to know
about,
exactly.
Right?
And I provided them with some humor this morning. And you know what? They might tell their friends and they might laugh at me. And how is that hurtful? How is that doing anything but spreading joy and laughter to other people? And all because I'm having the time of my life walking down the freaking street. You know what I mean? Like, we make everything so heavy. It doesn't have to be heavy. Just because gravity is in this Earth atmosphere doesn't mean everything has to weigh us down. Even finding our happy place.
Yeah, but you know something? Even finding your happy place. Let me show you something. Okay, going out in the garden, I am eating alive with poison oak. Now, is it worth it to me to go to my happy place? Yes. Mm-hmm. Even though it itches. Even though I made up this little concoction right here. This is a tincture with country plant. I'm keeping it close by for the show today because I don't want to itch. So yeah, when I go out and work in the garden again, you betcha. Even though I've got poison oak and I'm allergic to it, by the way, so I'll probably won't.
Oh no, so it's a little worse. Oh my goodness. But that's the thing, is that, and then also everybody's happy place is going to be different. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be honest, even if I did have a garden, it wouldn't be my happy place. I love nature so much. Like, you have no idea. But I'm not a garden person. I'll sit there and watch you as long as we can play music and have really good conversation.
Well,
I'll drink the iced tea.
Blackberry cobbler. I mean, these berries.
Well, that's the thing. I'll bake. I'll stay in the kitchen and bake because that is a happy place for me, you know? And so you find the things, again, what did you used to love to do when you were a kid? And here's the other thing that I would encourage you. My friend Shannon encourages her friends to do this, is to write down a list of 5 to 10 things. Like, notice when you're like, wow, doing this is making me feel really good. Baking bread usually makes people feel really good because it smells good and it feels good in your hands and like all the things. Write down 5 to 10 things that, like, when you are finding yourself falling into that pit, what would help you come out of it? What makes you feel good? And when you feel yourself doing that, grab your list and look, and I can't do this right now. I can't find my swings. I can't go to get it swings right now. I don't have time to color. You know what? I'm going to listen to my favorite song. Oh my gosh, I love this song. My go-to anger song. I always play it when I'm in this, that one song. I'll play other things too, but that one song is first. And then there are other songs where I'm like, I just need to dance. I just need to move, blah, blah, blah. That's the one I listen to. And sometimes it doesn't matter. It's just going to help. Something as simple as step away from the computer, turn off the TV, get a glass of water, like something as simple as that. It takes you out of whatever it is long enough for you to, again, be out of the pit enough to come back and look at it and be like, all right, what's the first thing I need to do?
And something, playing solitaire just play solitaire, put a puzzle together. I mean,
I do that.
Thing that can, because I think what's happening is we have all of these devices. I mean, I've got them too. And I think sometimes we get so into that we don't do like, let's just make something.
Right. Absolutely. But I'm going to say the point of it all is, and I said this to my mom, because my mom crochets like crazy, and she was having, I can tell you the whole story if you want, but she was having some issues. And so I said, Mom, it is so helpful for you to clear your mind. And I have processes. We could go through like different ways of actually physically clearing your mind and your brain of all the things. But something is like, but even if we don't go down that, like, let's meditate for a moment kind of situation, you can clear your mind by, like I said, coloring, putting a song on. It's literally emptying your mind of all the things and all of the thoughts. We think over like 15, I don't even remember, like 40,000 thoughts a day, something like that. Like, it's ridiculous. And so when you can take some deep breaths, if that's your thing, it's definitely the thing I'm going to encourage you to do. But also, like, and sometimes you're so angry or antsy, I can't sit and breathe. Me too. You know what I mean? And so what you do is play a game on your phone. Don't scroll through social media, because social media is inundated with opinion and other people's pit.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I wouldn't recommend social media or the news ever. What I would recommend is look at pictures. I've been doing that lately before I go to bed, looking at pictures of my loved ones. And I love it. It makes me so happy. And for like, when I was talking to my mom, I was like, don't crochet, because I want your brain to stop thinking. And she was like, I'm going to crochet. And I was like, okay, fine. Put on a piece of music, put on a mindless television show that you don't have to think about. Don't try to solve the murder mystery. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's silly, like a movie that you grew up with, like something that you don't have to really pay attention to enjoy. Play on your phone. Or like with my mom, crochet. Okay, great. Then crochet, but make it a pattern that you know, not something that you have to think about. And just allow yourself, give yourself, 5 minutes would work, but give yourself an hour to 3 hours of just mindless nothing, because you'll be amazed at how much better you sleep, at how much better you feel. My mom's pain went away because she stopped worrying about it, and she stopped focusing on it. And the next thing she knew, she could walk, like literally. And it's not because I'm magic. It's because we do this stuff to ourselves. So honestly, Amber, love you, but it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you clear your mind in any way that you can. I love that you said puzzle. I have a silly puzzle. I think it's like 250 pieces. It takes me an hour to do. I love doing it. It's the same freaking puzzle. And every time I put it together, I'm like, I really need to buy another one of these so that I'm not doing the same puzzle every time. But like, it still takes me an hour every time I do it, But it's literally just an hour of mindless, and I don't always listen to music, but sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. I don't watch a whole lot of television, and like, it just, again, it takes you out of the pit. And that's the point, because then you're so much better prepared to deal with the pit.
Something that you think about often, especially when you've went around the sun as many times as I have. Like a long time. I'm remembering, because I grew up in a not so happy household when I was a kid. And so I had a teacher, Miss Anderson. Miss Anderson, I was lucky enough to have her in the 7th grade and in the 5th grade, I think it was. So, but I do remember this about Miss Anderson. I think she knew something was wrong at home. And so what she would do sometimes is just give me a piece of paper and a pencil, and she would say, draw circles. She wasn't doing it to anybody else, but to me. And what she did mainly, and I just thought about this the other day, Miss Anderson, if she's still around, you probably helped save my life. it was a simple little thing of, she'd say, now connect the circles if you can, and just draw circles. And I would just for recess and stuff, I would go outside, and I would always come back in early because I was always afraid I'd be late for class for some reason. And so she would say, get a piece of paper, and I want you to draw me a bunch of circles. And I would say, how many? And she would say, as many as you want, but make sure you close the circles. So was that her way of?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Excuse me. Because it's mindless enough, and also you're focused on it enough that you're not just going to be like drawing circles and still thinking about all the crap that's going on at home. You're going to make sure those circles are connected. You're going to make sure they're touching. They're going to, and it's simple. And it's literally, now you're focused on this, and you're ready to focus on whatever she's teaching, because all of that stuff has left. All of that stuff has left our mind. Our minds, like, and there's so much about all of this that we're talking about that, like, they're amazing, amazing systems. Like, our brain is insanely incredible. And like, I sometimes have people ask me, like, Julia, you talk about listening to your inner being, but I just keep hearing how terrible I am. That I'm an idiot, that I'm fat, that I'm this, that I'm that. And I'm like, okay, that's not your inner being, because when you're listening to the inner being, which I know I'm jumping into a little bit of a different thing, but which is literally the voice of God inside of you, who you truly are at your core, is your inner being. And that part of you only knows love, because truly well-being is all that exists in this world. And when you can relate to that, the part of you, every time that you say that you're fat or that you don't like a part of your body, you are in direct conflict with that part of you, because that part of you loves every single cell in your body and everything about you. So when you're hearing that voice in your head that says, you can't do that, you're going to fail. Don't do that. Don't. That's going to be awful. You're going to make a fool of yourself. That voice, what that literally is, it's almost like your brain has this, it's your ego. And it's like your brain has this little guy sitting in a computer or sitting in a little tiny desk. And every time you have a thought or an idea, it runs through like a file cabinet of all of your past experiences and pulls out proof of the last time you tried something new and you fell on your face. Don't do it. You're going to fail. See, I have proof. Mm-hmm. And so you fear and you lose your confidence and you decide not to do it, or you're terrified about it, or you worry about it. And it's like, and here's some more, and here's some more, based on your past experiences. Mm-hmm. And what you train yourself to do is say, oh my goodness, instead of, like, sometimes people call that like the demon in your head, or they vilify this voice. And while it isn't necessarily a positive voice, what it's trying to do is protect you. Mm-hmm. Don't do this, because last time we failed and we felt so stupid. Don't do it. Whereas you know it's the right thing to do, because your inner being is telling you it's the right thing to do, because everything about it feels right, except for that voice that's like, we failed last time. Going into a new relationship after a really horrible heartbreak. Same thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're just going to treat you the same way that other thing. No, that is not true. And so you tell that voice in your head. Sometimes people name their ego. I just use the word Rose. And it's like, Rose, go back to your room. I love you. Thank you for trying to protect us. I got this. You go back to your room. I'm going to make sure we're okay. And that's how you shut that voice down. And that's how you allow yourself to feel good, is you shut that part of yourself off and you listen to the part of yourself that is encouraging, but also that part of yourself that is just love. The part of yourself that makes you feel good. Why listen to the voice in your head that makes you feel bad? Because again, I don't want to feel bad. So why would I do that? Why would I worry? Because worrying is literally fear of the future. Mm-hmm. And I personally refuse to live a life of fear, but also it's the future. It hasn't even happened yet. I was told once that worrying is like praying for something bad to happen, because you're thinking about all the bad things that could happen and putting your focus on that. Does that feel good? No, we're literally nightmaring about our future. So pull all that back and remember that I'm right here, and right here feels pretty good. And there are things I want to improve, but I'm healthy and I'm happy, and I can focus on the parts of my reality that I love, so that I'm in a really feel good place, so that I can then take care of the parts of my reality that I don't like. And there are parts of our reality that are out of our control. The things that are happening around the world, sometimes the political parts of the things, and we feel like, well, they're dictating who and what I can be. Not today, they're not. And not today, they're not. And not today, they're not. And it eventually might affect you. And I'm not saying that policies don't affect people, good, bad, ugly. But what I am saying is you are still in control of your existence.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can let all of that go and live the life that you want to live.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, you can. I would have little difficulties. Like I was okay. I love to run, and it was almost like I was trying to run away from life. But anyway, I turned it into sports, and I remember we had a contest, and I think I was like second. So I finished second. Well, I was not happy with that. I wanted to be number one. So I came in, and I remember Dad going, well, being second place is pretty good. So I guess that means you need to jump right back on that horse again and get ready for next year. He said, jump back on the horse again.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And so, it was just just little things that sometimes we don't realize we're actually helping somebody by some little nice, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. You don't have to write a book and give it to somebody. You can just literally, sometimes just one sentence is all you need.
Right. Absolutely.
Encourage them. And so many people, though, don't do that because they have their own issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't think about doing that. But I have just literally, because I can detect when somebody's having a problem because I grew up in that atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And you can put me in a room of 1,000 people, I can tell you the ones that have the conflicts. I will, because I know from my own life, my own experiences. And sometimes I can just see somebody in the grocery store and I can just tell by the expression on their face, something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And so that's my opportunity. I'll walk up to them and I'll say, oh man, I love that handbag. Or something like that, mm-hmm. And it kind of just, even if it's just for 1 minute, gets them out of that tailspin of going down in the cycle. Mm-hmm. And I think, maybe I did something good today.
Right. Absolutely you did. Absolutely you did. Anytime you can give somebody a compliment. I used to feel so apprehensive about it, but now it doesn't bother me at all. I'll walk up to them and be like, you are beautiful. Because how often does she hear that, first of all? And also, like, why not? I'm thinking it anyway. Why not tell her that? You know what I mean? And I used to be like, oh my God, she's going to think I'm hitting on her. No, it's just another woman expressing like admiring beauty. You tell trees and plants and flowers they're beautiful. Why wouldn't you tell another human being?
Of course you do.
You know what I mean? And it's true. And it's funny. I started doing this thing where the people around me are talking negative about themselves. And I won't say it's not true because that's not true. Sometimes I'll be like, that's not true. And I'll give them examples of how it's not true and how they've I'm such an idiot. I'm like, that's not true. Look, you did this and this, more about this than I do. And like, they're like, oh, you know what I mean? But sometimes if they're like talking about their weight or they're like, I can't deny that somebody's gained weight. If they're talking to me and telling me I looked at the scale and I've gained weight, you know what I mean? Like whatever. I can tell them to throw their scale away. But other than that, what I would say is like, stop talking about my friend that way. Mm-hmm. Because I wouldn't let anybody else talk about my friend that way. So why am I going to let you talk about her that way? Mm-hmm. Stop talking about my friend that way. My friend is beautiful. I don't care how much she weighs. Mm-hmm. And what that does is it stops that other person in their track. And there's some quote about like, you can be given like 10 compliments in a day and 1 criticism, and you only remember the criticism. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because it gives our ego proof. It justifies all of our self-hate, let's say, or our insecurities. And we have control of that. And so when you hear an ill word about a friend or about someone because we were talking about that gossip mill, you know what I mean? Like that, like you can stop that and be like, stop it. Like that's not true. There's no truth in that. That's not my experience with this person. Or if it is, you know what? I wish her so much luck with that. I really do, because I want everybody to be happy. And she's behaving that way because it seems to me, outside looking in, she's behaving that way because she's so unhappy. And that makes me sad for her. Let's not talk about that. Let's just wish her well and move on. You know what I mean? And like, if you have anything to do with shifting somebody's perspective and positive, that's amazing, because they're going to hold on to that. They're going to remember that. Mm-hmm. And they might not agree with you because they might really not like that person, and that's cool, but that has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. And you can help other people. You can't change anybody. I mean, I say the same things like a lot to a lot of the same people. And it's like, someday they'll hear me, but until they're ready to, they can choose to stop talking crap about themselves, or they can choose to continue to do that.
Well, you know what we say here in the South, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And there's so much truth to that.
There's very much truth in that.
You know what? We're going to have to go into a commercial break. And you know what? I love gardening so much that I even put up with getting poison oak. It's time for me to go ahead and put some of this tincture on.
Put some of your stuff on.
You have to do that. So let's go ahead and get to a commercial break.
Okay.
I promise we'll be right back with more. We'll answer more of your questions.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. I still garden. Even though I don't want to be doing this all day long, I'm still going to garden because it gives me so much peace of mind. I love doing it. And so, you're going to have some issues with stuff that you like to do. I mean, the cat's going to come along while you're doing that crossword puzzle sometime and knock everything out. It's going to happen. So anyway, continue doing, get back on that horse again. That's all you got to do. Just get back on it if it's something that you absolutely love doing. We have more questions. And this one refers to, let's go ahead and do this one. This is Mary. And so she has married a guy. Mm-hmm. She's having problems with his ex-wife. Okay. She didn't elaborate on what kind of problems that she's having, but apparently it pertains to the kids. So, and let me just tell you what happened in my life. Sometimes we can do things. I know when Phil and I were married, Phil has 2 daughters, and Kim is 10 years younger than I am. Shelly is 11 years younger than I am. So we were, all 3 of us, a bit nervous, and I wanted to take them out to eat before we got married. And so we're at a restaurant, we're eating, and I said, because they were nervous, I was nervous. I was like, no, I don't want to screw this up. I mean, I didn't want to mess it up. Right. And so when I told them, I said, I'm not your mother. You have one of those already. I can be there if you're having issues, you got somebody to talk to. You don't want to tell your dad stuff because I know how he is. He's very protective. You don't want to tell your mother. I'm the person in the middle. You can just tell me stuff. Well, that was such a relief to them. And I think maybe it was a relief to their mother, too, because I wasn't hammering in like I'm all that, and I'm going to be your mother now. So I don't know exactly what that issue is, but let's look at 2 scenarios. Let's look what if she's the issue? What if she's coming in demanding to be the mother?
It's very possible. I think that it's complicated because I'm going to kind of defend that person, whether that's Mary or not, a little bit because I don't know because I don't know this person, but I'm assuming that person wants to step in as those children's mother because, first of all, they're in her household and that it is possibly her nature to want to care for the people in her household. And so whether the intention is to step in as the mother or not, she's going to make sure that those kids are taken care of. She's going to make sure that they eat. She's going to cook for them. She's going to do all those things. She's going to care for them. And maybe that's something that they didn't get before. And so she feels like she might be filling a void, and that's cool. And I think that it is important, especially if the mom, the actual birth mother, is still involved. Communication is everything. And so having these conversations with not just the kids, depending on their age, but definitely the husband about like, I'm not sure where to go because I'm falling in love with these kids. I'm treating them as if they're my own. And yet I know I'm not. I wish I were, but I don't want to overstep and upset anybody. And at the same time, it has been tasked to me because they're living in my home that I cook and I clean and I do their laundry and I help them with their homework. And I, in all intents and purposes, am their mother. And so I would have that conversation with the husband and say, like, what would you expect? What would you like me to do? Like, how should we as a partnership proceed with this other woman so that I'm not ostracizing her, so that I'm not replacing her. Here's the thing though, you could never replace her because of the past experiences that she has with those children and because you aren't her. But what you can do is be your husband's wife and a friend and a support and a nurturing person to those kids. Mm-hmm. We don't have to have a title for that. As humans, we want a reason for everything. We want a definition and we want a title. We want to understand things. And as a result, we put so much weight on things like the word mother and the word, and like words like hard. We've talked about this. It's like, why do we make that such a big deal? And I'm going to boldly say, don't be swept up. I would tell that person, if that was really the issue, who cares whether or not you're their mother? Don't be swept up word. You are caring for them. Be that. Now, someone might look at your actions. This woman might look at your actions, maybe even the kids. You're trying to be my mom. No, I'm not. I'm caring for the people in my household. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm being myself. And it is everything in me to care for the people in my household. I don't want to be your mom. I mean, maybe don't say that, but you know what I mean? I could never be your mom. I couldn't, but I can be your friend. I can be someone who's going to help you get through life by doing your laundry and feeding you every morning. You know what I mean? And so, and if she's coming at you, this other, the actual birth mother, and saying, you're trying to replace me, you can say, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? And you can just, honestly, you don't even have to defend yourself. You can just be like, I'm taking care of the people that are in my household. And
I would be glad I had someone like
absolutely to take care of my kids. Yeah.
Because if they were mistreating them, the evil stepmother mistreating the stepkid, then there would be a problem.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that, so that's where, let go of the title of mother. Don't let that get in your way. You behave the way you need to behave. And if somebody else has an issue with you, you stop by saying, okay, is what they're saying true? No. Cool. Then it has nothing to do with me. It's their issue. It's the stories that they're telling themselves about what my intentions are. It's not true, and it has nothing to do with me. Well, she's going to tell everybody else. Cool. The people that know you will know your intention. The people that know you will understand what else are you going to do besides feed the children that come to your table? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not trying to take anybody else's place. Again, I don't feel like you need to justify yourself. I think the important thing is
I don't think that there's an argument at all.
Right.
I'm just tickled that this woman was actually washing my kids' clothes.
Right. Well, but we have no control over what she thinks.
Who knows?
Yeah. And so we just say that's not true. And then if it is true, yeah, it is true. I've become these kids' mom. And we love each other. And do I want to change that? No. Cool. So it's not my problem. I don't have to worry about what she has to say. I can let that go. And then there's the part where it is true and I should watch how I speak, or I should watch how important it is to me that they call me mom, or that like they don't call me mom, or like, you're right. I am trying to take ownership of that word or whatever it is. Okay. What do you want to do about it then? Like, what is within your control to do about it? What feels good to do about it? And then you follow and you make those changes, choices, etc. But those are the 3 steps. Is this true? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Do I want to change it? No. Cool. Let it go. Do I want to change it? Yes. Okay. What's the first logical step for me to do that? And now that whole scenario, am I angry? No. Am I hurt? No. And am I being productive? Yeah. And I'm moving forward. I'm not taking anybody else's crap on because it's either true or it's not. And I don't have to worry about the people outside of me. It is an absolutely...
It's perfectly okay. I mean, I had a father. Okay. I had 2 stepfathers as well. It's okay to love all 3.
Absolutely.
It's good that you can. I loved my stepfathers too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again,
I'm lucky to have 3 that I liked.
Again, it's all about how we perceive things. It's all about how we title things. Like, I'll be honest with you. I had a father who was not a father. And like, I was so attached to that title and what that meant that I allowed his behavior to continue to hurt me. Now, does that forgive his behavior? No. But also I can take some ownership in being like, why did I expect any change to happen? Because I wanted it, because I was looking for that as a little girl. And so, but yet when I was an adult and I was still letting it happen, I was like, hold on just a second. Why am I still calling him my dad? If he didn't have that title, would I want to have anything to do with this man? If I met him randomly at a party because he was a friend of a friend, would I want to hang out? Would I give him my number? Heck no. So then why is it so important to me just because he has this moniker that he's never lived up to? Do you know what I mean? And you can be like,
how many times we hang on to titles about stuff? I had a boss who was jealous of me one time because I'm very ambitious. And so I was a salesperson for a big company, and I handled government and corporate accounts. And he started treating me this really strange way. And so I went home one day and I said, Phil, I don't understand this. And I said, I'm his number one person. He makes bonuses off of me like crazy. And I was happy for him to make bonuses. I wasn't, mad about that or anything. And so Phil said, he thinks you want his job. And I said, why would I want his job? And he said, you need to go tell him. So I knocked on his door and I said, Mr. Bossman, I need to talk to you for a few minutes. And so he said, about what? And I said, because I believe in just being just out blunt. I believe in just saying whatever it is and don't run, around the roses with it. And I just said, I don't want your job. And it made me funny because he was like the big boss, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I said, first of all, a title meant nothing to me. I mean, I didn't care. Call me. And because they wanted to call me a commercial sales executive. And I said, just call me a salesperson. Right. Because everybody is saying, well, what's that? You're not our salesperson?
Right. And
I'm going to say, yes, I am. I don't know why they do that. It's on my business cards and all that. I said, I'm still your salesperson. Right. So the long story short is it gave him some relief because he literally thought I was one of these ambitious people who wanted to take his job away from him. And I said, look, and then he kept saying, why? And I didn't want to hurt his ego, but I just had to say it because he just kept saying, why? And I said, you are under the gun continuously. You're going to have a heart attack in another 2 years. I said, you're scared to death of your boss. And then I said, and I make more money than you do. I've got a son who plays football. I can go to the games. I can do all these things that I would not be able to do if I had your job. I don't want it. So I convinced him that I didn't want it.
Right.
Life was a lot easier. Right. He just wanted to be called a boss.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you're never going to be able to convince anything of anything or anyone of anything because they have their ideas. So in our scenario, if Mary went to this woman and said, instead of saying, I'm not trying to be their mom, I'm not trying to replace you. Instead of just saying that, what I would encourage you, because they're going to be like, yes, you are. Look at your behavior.
That opens up the door for
Yeah, exactly. And so, but what I would say is, I need you to know that I am as aware as you are, that I will never replace you. I will never replace you, and I will never try to replace you. I'm not going to waste my time because it will never happen. At the same time, I'm going to take care of your kids because they're in my house. And I'm not going to try. I can't replace you.
Argue with that. I mean, if I'm the mom, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm going to go, whoa, bingo.
I think what you're doing too is you're not just saying, I'm not trying to be their mom, because then that's about action. Like, I'm not trying to, but you know what I mean? Like that, I don't know. There's something about that I can't put words to that isn't open, but saying I am as aware as you are, that I will never and can never replace you. I don't want to. I'm not looking to, because I know it's not possible. Why would I waste my time? That's the part that she's going to be like, oh, you get that. Do you know what I mean? It's not just, and then you can say, and at the same time, not but, because but is going to replace what you just said. And also, your kids are in my house and I'm going to feed them. If they need help with their homework, I'm the one that's going to be there. So I'm going to help them. I don't want to be their mom.
This is it. I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes ego gets in the way in a lot of things.
Oh, every day.
So, I mean, and again, you're trying to take the title of mother away from me. I'm taking care of
the title. And that's why you don't say, I'm not trying to be their mom. You say, I don't want to be their mom or that. Like, take mom out of the situation and say, it's you. I'm not trying to replace you. I could never, no one can replace you.
Okay. If she were not taking care of the kids, then the rumor mill would get started. It's like, so, I mean, it's no win situation. Just go on, live your life and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, who cares? Like, seriously, who cares about the rumor mill? The thing about why we care, that is in our DNA from.
You want to be accepted.
Eons and but there's a reason why. Because eons and eons and eons and eons ago, when we didn't have a civilized society, we lived in tribes, we lived in like communities, and we relied on each other. We would not have been able to survive on our own. So it mattered that we fit in. It mattered that we were a part of that community. Today, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what somebody thinks about you, except that but it matters to you, like, except that is still a real thing in you. But when you think about how much you think about what other people are thinking of you, and realize that is probably what everybody else is thinking, that you're so concerned about what everybody else thinks of your outfit that you aren't consumed with what they're wearing. You're not even giving a second notice to what they're wearing. They are probably doing the same thing too. I love you all. Nobody thinks about you as much as you think they do. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, they are so consumed with themselves, just like you are.
Paying
that
bills,
they're not
feeding the kids. I got to get supper done. All those kinds of things. Yeah.
Right. So, like, seriously, like, we can let go of so much of that. Who cares if somebody else thinks that you're not a good parent because they heard from somebody else that your kid got taken to the principal's office? I got taken to the principal's office by calling someone a bad name. Like, am I the worst person in the world? No, everybody calls somebody a bad name. And I got taken to the principal's office for it twice. Like, I had to go twice. It was just still the one incident. But like, and so now I'm labeled the bad guy. Does that make my mom a bad person because I picked up a word from a friend in school? I didn't hear that word at home. You know what I mean? Like, and yet somebody could have heard about that. And like, well, Carol must, like, my mom must speak terribly to her children because Julia's going around calling people that name. Really? Like, who cares? Like, that we put
about the person who does that. Is that insecurities on their end who start this?
Yeah. So the people, like, okay.
Because I've had it said, I've learned to let it go.
Absolutely. And sometimes we get so tied up because, like, especially if, like, it's a group of people that you consider your friends, and all of a sudden you find out that they're talking crap about you. I want you to think about a couple of things. First of all, when you were with this group of friends, were you talking about other people? And were you talking with them about the other people that are in your little group of friends? So then why are you surprised that they're talking about you when you're not there? Because that is the, let's say, culture of this group of women or of this group of people. If that's what you all do together, don't be surprised that it's happening to you too. Just putting that out there. And then remind yourself, every single thing you hear a rumor about yourself, you ask yourself, is that true? No, it's not true. Cool. Then it's not your problem. It's the problem of that person. Who knows? We can create stories. We can hypothesize about they're insecure, they're jealous, they're this, they're that. Again, we're giving them titles to justify their behavior. It doesn't matter. What matters is it's not true. The people that know and love me know it's not true. And it's done. The other thing to consider, is that when somebody says something to you, like, let's pretend for just a second that I said, oh my gosh, Donna, did you see what our mutual friend like Dorothy was wearing the other night? And you'll be like, no, what was she wearing? And I'll tell you, and you'll be like, wow. And it's done. Do you ever think about it again? No. It's like, so even if they're saying something, they say it and it's over. How does that hurt you? They're not going to go tell somebody else, well, I heard so-and-so was wearing. And if they do, excuse me, like there's so nothing to it. So that's on the receiving end. Now, you specifically asked about the person who's like spreading those rumors or saying those things. I believe very strongly that every single one of us is doing our best, our absolute best. Even the people that you feel like that you've labeled as narcissistic or the like jerks or toxic or any of those things that we've labeled them, even they are doing the best they can. You don't know what they dealt with in the past, what they just dealt with before they came in, what your boss just dealt with before they came in and yelled at you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. And does it feel good? No, but you're in control. So you can continue to feel good by saying, is what they're saying true? No, da, 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 da. But that person is what we're talking about. We have no idea what their experience is. We know that everybody is trying to feel good. Everybody's trying to maintain happiness. Everybody is inundated by the BS that we're trained from at the very beginning by our society, that we have to fit in, that we have to get a job, that we have to make money, that we have to do all of these things in order to be successful. And if you don't do them in this way, you're out. I grew up thinking that I had to go through school, I had to go to college, I might need to get my master's degree, I had to immediately get married, and I had to have 2 to 3 children. Since I was a toddler given a stroller to push a little doll around, that's what I've been trained. As a woman, this is what I do. But none of that was true for me. You know what I mean?
And on the contrary, you just mentioned going to college. I know some very successful women. There's a woman I know whose dad owns Sherry Cagle. It's what does he do? The dad, welding company. Okay, so her dad owned a welding company. His sons, the daughter's the only one who expressed any kind of interest whatsoever in welding. She is now the president of the welding company.
Yeah.
Very successful, makes money like
Absolutely.
crazy. Loves what she's doing. Now, did she go to college to be something? I think she went to college to be a teacher. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, she got a degree, winds up running dad's company, more successful than the sons would have ever been. So, I mean,
you're proving the point that nobody fits, not everybody's going to fit into that mold. And some people do, and God bless them. You know what I mean? There's someone who I know who did everything she could to fit into that mold, and she's got it. She's got a husband who is miserable. She's got children who are actually fantastic, surprisingly. But like, is she happy? No, not even a little bit. And it's like, but she got everything she wanted, and she's going to justify to herself that this is what I'm supposed to have. This is what I was supposed to do with my life, so I need to be happy. And now all of a sudden she's depressed because I have everything I ever said that I was going to do, and I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
How do those things coexist? They don't. So now we fall into this depression because we don't understand, because we followed everything we were supposed to do. I say screw supposed to. Follow what feels good.
Yeah, because look at this. Okay, so I was really good in numbers in school. I won every math contest. I mean, I was actually in like a new school, beat out everybody else, and it represented a school in the math contest. So every teacher, everybody who came to school to talk about your future, your whatever, would say, you should be in public accounting. I would die in public accounting. Not like, I even went to college I took courses in accounting, bored me to death.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do it. So what am I doing with talk show host? Okay. All right, guys.
But are you happy? Absolutely. That's the thing.
Never been
Remember that these people who are bitter and hateful, or whatever you think they are, whatever you've labeled them to be, they're just trying to find happiness. And sometimes they launch attacks. They say things that they don't probably even mean, like all those things, just to find a feeling of good. Maybe they've impressed the people in the little community of people that they told. They need to feel good about themselves within that community, so they're going to share a piece of gossip, even though it doesn't matter. And all it is them trying to feel good. And you know what? You can say, you know what? I hope she's happy. I hope he finds what he's missing. I hope, and just be like, I know that's not true. The people that know and love me know it's not true. So I'm not going to let it affect me. If the people that I thought knew and loved me do believe it's true, they can either talk to me about it or they don't know me at all.
Absolutely.
And then you have nothing to do with it. And you can move forward knowing that you're happy and healthy. You're not literally off your back, and wishing that person well. It's really too bad.
We're going to have to call it a day, but I've got to say this. You have made me feel better not even knowing you're doing it so many times by being on this show.
Thank you.
Thank you for your encouragement. Absolutely. The reason I get you on here every month. It's a lot of it's from me, but thank you so much. Continue sending emails, by the way, guys. Donna at Donna. Keep doing that. Julia, how can folks find the podcast?
Any podcasting platform. It's Life After Breath. And then you can check me out. It's also on my website, which is juliachristinehealer.com. That's where you can get information about how to talk to me just one-on-one. And also, of course, listen to the podcast.
Absolutely. Guys, we got to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Bye.